Hello, my name is Michelle and welcome to my channel, Michelle's Melancholia. Can you believe we are only a couple of weeks away from December, which means we are also only a couple of weeks away from the Christmas Evil Readathon. In case you missed the announcement video, the Christmas Evil Readathon is a month-long event that I will be co-hosting with Kelly from Kelly Hooked on Books, Crystal from Fiber Artsy, Katrina Brown, and Kelsey from Slime and Slashers. I will link all their channels in the description box, and all of them already have recommendation videos up on their channels, so go watch those. And in this video, I will be giving you my recommendations and ideas of books to read for each of the prompts of the readathon. As I did with the nostalgic November readathon, I will say which is my personal top choice for building my TBR, plus some extra options. Most of these options are books that I also haven't read, but there are a few exceptions. And before I start, I must say that I won't be giving TBR or recommendations for a gifted book or mood read, because I'm probably just going to decide those later, depending on what I feel like reading at the time. For most of the prompts, I'm going to give you 3 options, although for some of them I have 4 because I just couldn't decide. Okay, let's get started. The first prompt is Black Christmas, a book about black magic or the occult. For this one, my top pick is the novelization of the movie The Omen, which of course is about a boy who is born, and that boy is the son of Satan. And I have the 5 or 6 volumes of novelizations, but I'm probably just going to read the first one for the readathon so I can fit in more books for the other prompts. Another book that looks incredible and is brand new is The Dismembered by Jonathan Janz. First of all, look at this beautiful cover. And this is set in 1912, and it is about a writer who meets a mysterious woman on a train in London. And this woman asks him for help to save her sister, who has been entranced by Count Richard Dunning, who is rumored to dabble in bizarre religious rites and experimental medicine. And apparently when this writer agrees to help and meets said Count, him and his followers unleash an unholy supernatural power. And the third option is Hare House by Sally Hinchcliffe. And this is about a woman who moves into a cottage in a remote location in Scotland. And you know I love books set in remote locations in Scotland. And in the little village where this cottage is, there are sinister tales of witchcraft. And it seems that the more she meets her landlord, the more she suspects that there may be secrets in the house. And this is set in that time of year where autumn transitions to winter, and apparently it involves heavy snowfalls, so it might be perfect for this time of year. The next prompt is Krampus, a creature feature or book about monsters. And my top pick for this one, and actually I'm really excited about it, and it is another movie novelization. I don't know why I'm really into those right now. And it is the novelization for the movie Gremlins, which is obviously a Christmas movie. And it's just so nostalgic for me. It really encapsulates my childhood because I used to watch the Gremlins movie on TV every single Christmas, even though I was definitely too young. Another really great option is Mastodon by Steve Stredd. I'm not sure if it's set in winter, but it's set in the wilderness of the Rocky Mountains, which for some reason seems very seasonal to me. And it is about this man, and both his mom and dad at different times disappeared in the same part of the Rocky Mountains. So he decides to investigate and see if he can find his father, but when he goes deep into the wilderness, he finds that something really dark is hiding in there. Another one that I have wanted to read for a while is The Reyes Incident by Brianna Morgan. And there is not much description for this one. It is about killer mermaids. And I have a fourth option because I just couldn't narrow it down. And this is a book that is part of the Rewind or Die series. And it's a short book and probably an easy read. So I wanted to share this one. And honestly, it looks so good. It is called The Cat Creeper by Kevin A. Lewis. And it is about a group of tourists visiting Vermont and there is a blizzard. So also very wintry. And these tourists take refuge in a mansion owned by a reclusive author called Taylor Crane. And I think that guy's cat wants to eat people. That's it. I think it's just a killer cat in a blizzard. The next prompt is A Christmas Carol, a book about a haunting or a ghost story. My top pick for this is 6 Rooms by Gemma Amor because it has been sitting in my priority pile for way too long. And I think this is a haunted house story. The synopsis is very vague, but let me read to you this blurb because it's what made me want to read it for this prompt. It says, 6 Rooms starts as an almost whimsical ghost story, but devolves inexorably into a series of genuinely dreadful horrors. This descent into violence and greed and regret will leave you thoroughly unsettled. The next book is one that I randomly came across in my local library, and it is called The Ghost of Helen Addison by Charles E. McGarry. And this is a murder mystery book, so in case you're looking for something a little bit different. And it is also set in the winter. And this is about a private detective that is investigating the ritualistic murder of a young girl, also in rural Scotland. So he goes up there to stay in a hotel with a group of people that I'm guessing are the suspects, but he realizes that there's someone else staying in the hotel and that is the ghost of the victim. So it may be a murder mystery with a little supernatural twist. And my third choice is a book that you can find on Kindle Unlimited, and it is called Carfax House, a Christmas ghost story by Shani Struthers. And this is about a couple that buy a house that has been in the market for a while and they think that maybe it just needs a little renovation. But once they're settled in the house and they're starting to prepare for the festive season, they start to believe that they may not be alone in the house after all. The next prompt is Sleigh Bells, a slasher. My top pick for this one is Night Shoot by David Sodergren. And this is about a group of student filmmakers that break into a manor for their assignment. But Crawford Manor has a past that won't stay dead, and the crew come face to face with a hideous secret. And this book is supposed to resemble a slasher movie of the 1980s, so I think it's perfectly on theme. Another great option that I have read is Broken Hearts by R.L. Stine. And this is about 2 friends that start receiving threatening letters around Valentine's Day. And although this is technically set in February, it is still a perfect winter read because there is a lot of snow and there are also like ice skating segments. So if you want to read something wintry, this would definitely fulfill that requirement. And another option, which is another book that I have read, is Daphne by Josh Malerman, and I wanted to recommend this because some people don't enjoy like slashers per se, but maybe something a little more supernatural could be more appealing to you. And this is about a girls' basketball team, and before a big game they start talking about a local legend that is kind of famous in their town. And it just so happens that after they speak about it, they start dying one by one. The next prompt is Winter Wonderland. Read a book set in winter. And obviously there's loads of books set in winter, but I chose some that maybe aren't so obvious or so famous. The first one is one that you can find on Kindle Unlimited, and it is The Stroke of Winter by Wendy Webb. And it's about a woman who is renovating her family home to become a bed and breakfast. And this is happening during the winter, of course. And while she's doing it, she discovers a room that is full of paintings done by one of her relatives, but these paintings are super sinister, and she wonders if they hold a secret to some kind of evil that may be inhabiting this house. I also wanted to recommend 2 short stories in case you want to fulfill a prompt really quickly, and they are both by Jack Harding. The first one is Driving in the Dark, and this is about a man who is driving home on Christmas Eve to celebrate with his fiancée, and I don't know what happens. The description is vague. It says something isn't right. Everything just seems out of sync and off, and Riley can't quite put his finger on it. All he has to do is keep his eyes on the road. The next option is another relatively recent release, and that is This Is Where We Talk Things Out by Caitlin Marceau. And the cover looks kind of like foresty and snowy, so I'm assuming it is set around the winter time. And I don't know much about it, only that it is about a woman that decides to take a trip with her mother in order to repair their relationship, and I guess things just don't go as planned. And a fourth option, if you like short story collections, is any of the winter-themed volumes of the British Library Tales of the Weird collections. So there are a bunch. We have Hunters at the Hearth, Eerie Tales for Christmas Nights. We also have Chill Tidings, Dark Tales of the Christmas Season. We also have Polar Horrors, just set in snow. Also Spirits of the Season, Christmas Hauntings. And Sunless Solstice, Strange Christmas Tales for the Longest Nights. So any of these would be very season appropriate. The next prompt is Santa's Little Helper, a middle grade book. And I'm actually really bad at keeping up with middle grade books, but you can never go wrong with Goosebumps. So you could read Beware the Snowman, obviously, which is literally about a creepy snowman. But you could also read The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena, which is about 2 kids that go to Alaska, I think, to do some kind of research with their dad, and they end up bringing a strange creature to California. Is Pasadena in California? And if you prefer something more fantasy, sci-fi, why not try Legend of the Lost Legend? I don't quite remember if the story is snowy, but the cover is snowy, so I think there is snow in the woods where the story takes place. Another book that I stumbled upon in my local library is The Last of the Spirits by Chris Priestley, which is a retelling of A Christmas Carol, but from the perspective of 2 kids living in Victorian London. And it may be kind of dark because these 2 kids are living in poverty and they are asking people to give them money, and then one man refuses, and then one of the kids decides to kill him. So yeah, that sounds like it could be fun. And another wintry option that I found is Green Glass House by Kate Milford. And this is about a house that is more like a hotel or an inn, and during the winter a lot of mysterious guests start to arrive. And the boy that lives in the house needs to connect all the clues from the hotel guests to try to piece together the story of the house or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but it definitely looks very atmospheric. And because I had to do a lot of research for this prompt, I actually also came across a series. They are written by Culliver Krantz and they're supposed to be similar to the Goosebumps books. And the first one in the series is The Cursed Coin. So even though I mentioned this last, I think starting this series may be my top pick for this prompt. I guess this kind of like light-hearted horror would be more my jam. And last but certainly not least, we have Reindeer Ride, a translated book or written by a non-US author or an author not from your country. My top pick is Echo by Thomas Oldhuveld, and I think this is about two friends that go hiking or climbing and they have an accident. So it says it's a thrilling descent into madness and obsession as one man confronts nature and something even more ancient and evil answers back. Another seasonally appropriate option is Let the Right One In by John Ajvide-Lindqvist. Sorry, I just really cannot say it. But anyways, this is about a boy who meets a girl and everything seems to point to the fact that she may be a vampire. And the movie for this is super snowy, so I think the book may have that kind of atmosphere as well. And another book that I really want to read is actually quite short, and it is Such Small Hands by Spanish writer Andrés Barba. And it's about a 7-year-old girl living in an orphanage, but she's kind of like an outcast. And it says that as she struggles to find her place, she invents a game whose rules are dictated by a haunting violence. It evokes the pain of loss and the hunger for acceptance. And that is all I have for you today. I really hope you found these recommendations useful. And as always, whether you are doing one prompt or going for all the prompts, let me know what your reading plans are for the Christmas Evil Readathon. I honestly can't wait to have like all the events with you and see what you all read. Whatever it is, I really hope you enjoy it and have fun. And I will see you on my next video. But until then, goodbye.